I want to talk to you again about the offensive weapons bill. I'm sick of talking about it, you're sick of hearing it, but it's one of those things that I think is really important to talk about. If you're not already aware, the offensive weapons bill, part of the proposal is to ban the online sale of knives. And in my view, this could be damaging to the British knife making industry. Sheffield has a very rich knife making history. Knives have been made in Sheffield for well over 300 years, and some of those knife companies are still in business today. And I think Arthur Wright and Joseph Rogers, we've got some of those knives in front of us. I think those companies are included in that. Now, for a company, any company, no matter what they're making, to last 300 years, in my view, is pretty impressive. And I find it kind of annoying that a law passed by a government could potentially damage that. I find that to be quite annoying. Now, of course, these companies have survived all that time, and of course, the internet hasn't been around for over 300 years. How old is the internet? Like 15, 20 years? I honestly don't know. 30 years? Couldn't tell you. Anyway, so I can't actually say if this will damage the British knife making industry, but what I can tell you is knives like these are hard to find locally. There's not a single place in Scotland that I can think about where I could go to, I could walk in and buy a knife like this. In fact, it's difficult to find knives for sale at all in Scotland, full stop. So I think that this bill may harm these industries. I mean, the knives you see in front of you right now, I would certainly not have in my possession if it wasn't for the internet. In fact, I wouldn't even know they exist. Of course, if these industries are damaged, well, that's not going to be very helpful for the economy, and you never know, people may even lose their jobs. Now, of course, they're still going to be able to export to, the rest of Europe and America, but that's not really the point. Knives like these, being British, well, British people are going to want to buy them, myself included, although I don't really consider myself British, but I do, me being a Scotsman, but I do really enjoy these knives. I enjoy these knives as much as any other knife, actually. I enjoy these as much as a case knife or a Swiss Army knife. Of course, the quality in these knives really don't compare to a case knife. I mean, this sheep's foot was only 20 quid. But the fact that I can go online to Heine Haynes and spend 20 quid and get an English made knife in 2018, to me that's a fantastic thing. I mean, here's a thought for you. How many items in your house are actually made in England or made in Britain? I'm willing to bet not very many. That's certainly the case in my house, and that's quite a sad fact, actually. So to me, to be able to go online and buy these knives that are made in Sheffield, I think by hand, is quite a joyful thing. And I think that's quite a shame if this bill passes, and this being one of the consequences. Now, one of the things, one of the reasons that sort of brought this to mind actually is I was having a look through Facebook and I noticed something about the boss, the CEO or something of Taylor's Eyewitness, which is another really old Sheffield knife company. Taylor's Eyewitness has been around since the 1800s, but they, well, I think the offensive weapons bill is going to cause them problems. A lot of their knives, I think, are still made in England. The traditional knives, the pocket knives, they do make kitchen knives, but the Taylor's Eyewitness knives are made in China. I know that because I've got Taylor's Eyewitness kitchen knives, which says in the packet, made in China. But it cost me like 12 quid for a set of 5 knives from Asda. So that's to be expected. But these knives you see here are still made in England, and as I say, I think it'd be quite unfortunate and quite annoying if this bill causes those companies problems. Not only just Sheffield knife making, but just knife making in Britain in general. I mean, what about the ski and do makers in Scotland? Now, most ski and doos you get around, most ski and doos you can buy are honestly pretty crap. you know, those kilt shops you go into, they have ski and doos. Those ski and doos are crap. I'm talking about the ones that are handmade. I'd like to think there's a lot of makers in the Highlands and Islands. Well, how are those makers in the Highlands and Islands going to sell their knives to, say, Edinburgh or Fife or Glasgow or maybe even to England? Because someone's not going to go from Edinburgh to drive all the way up to the Scottish Highlands to spend £100 on a handmade knife. I mean, they might, but I doubt it. I mean, that'll certainly make those knives inaccessible to me, which is a shame because I would really like to add a proper handmade ski and do to my collection, because I don't have a single Scottish knife in my collection. And being Scottish, I find that kind of upsetting and annoying. But the truth is, there really isn't any Scottish knife makers, other than the people that, you know, other than the ones that are forged by hand. But there isn't any, you know, knife companies. It's all usually just a one-man band sort of thing. Single guy in a workshop. But of course, the single guy in the workshop is going to be harmed by this proposal if it comes into law. Anyway, I think that'll do for now. Thank you for watching.